Based on the text you provided, here is the English translation. Today, I would like to invite everyone to discuss a topic that many people may be afraid to talk about, but it is a real issue happening in Laos. That is, the new generation of Lao people are not interested in studying, or they don't want to study. Many people may wonder why today's children don't want to study anymore. The root cause of this is the governing system itself, which runs contrary to the needs of society and the evolution of modern society. The world has changed with time, but the system has turned back and is inevitably harming itself. What I'm saying is not meant to discredit anyone. It is a reality that many find hard to accept because it goes against the mindset that it has to be this way or that way as per theories taught in textbooks and believed for decades. If we look deeper, we will find that it's not because the children are lazy. Instead, it's because the country's economic and social systems are not conducive to education at all. Many graduates are still unemployed, have no future, and no one will hire them. This is because Laos doesn't have many industries, no foreign companies, and not many diverse private organizations to support them. When there are no places to work, there is no motivation to study. And if they become government employees, the salary is not enough to live on. Not only that, there are no welfare benefits and no job security. What's even worse is, no matter how smart you are, if you don't have connections, no relatives who are politicians, you have no way of advancing in your career. Some people are highly educated and very smart, but they end up having to go back to farming or become employees for people who are less educated than them. In the Laos civil service system, if you are not a child of a leader, if you don't have leadership bloodlines, there is no chance of you becoming someone important. High-level positions in the government are often divided among a group of people who have power and connections. As for ordinary people, they can only become teachers, soldiers, police officers, or doctors whose salaries are many times lower than those in the private sector. The new generation of young people knows this, they see it, and they don't want to waste 4 or 5 years on something that has no future. These days, quite a few people have turned to selling things online. Some people didn't even go to university, but were able to build a business and become millionaires in just a few years because they know how to use media, platforms, and technology. Meanwhile, people who have high-level degrees are still looking for jobs and have to rely on their parents. With this situation, who would want to study? This is not just a problem for the children, but a problem with the entire country's system. If the government doesn't urgently reform education and develop the economy while creating opportunities for young people, this problem will persist. It also comes from parents themselves who have no intention of letting their children continue their studies. Many people might think today's children are lazy, but the truth is there's more to it than that. Today's society in Laos has many factors that cause teenagers to lose the motivation to continue studying. Because even if they study, there are no industries, no private companies, no large organizations to hire new graduates. After graduating, they can't find a job, and there's no future to look forward to. Many people with bachelor's or master's degrees end up having to sell things in front of their homes because no one will hire them. Government work might seem like an option, but once they get in, the salary is not enough to live on. Plus, there are no welfare benefits, no bonuses, and no hope for advancement. And, most importantly, if you don't have connections, if you don't have relatives who are people in power, you will never be promoted. For ordinary people like us, no matter how smart we are, it's like walking on a dead-end street. Today's Lao teenagers see this because they are smart and they know that studying is a waste of time because the path is blocked by leadership bloodlines. Good positions in the government are not measured by ability, but by who your parents are. People without connections mostly end up as teachers, police officers, or soldiers whose salaries are even less than online vendors. And this is another important issue that many people don't talk about. It's the parents themselves who sometimes do not support their children's continued education. Especially in poor families, many parents think it's enough for their children to read and write. After that, they have them drop out of school to help with making a living. Some families tell their children to stop studying and send them to work abroad, especially in rural villages or poor areas. They see their neighbors go to work in Thailand, South Korea, or Japan and send back a significant amount of money. So, the parents want their children to drop out of school quickly to earn money and help the family. It's true that education is the future, but work is more of a lifeline. Some families, even if they are not poor, lose hope because they think, what's the point of studying when you don't have connections and no future? In the end, they will just come back to do odd jobs like before. Therefore, many people decide to have their children leave school as soon as possible so they don't waste time. Because education shouldn't be meaningless and young people shouldn't lose hope for the future. And if we look even deeper, since Laos changed its government system more than 50 years ago, we can see that many families have had to sacrifice the future of their children, including the money and assets they had saved up, for a government system that is not certain. Many families went so far as to sell their farms, sell their houses, sell their inheritance just to send their children to school. They hope that one day their child will become someone important, a boss, because of the belief of the Lao people that study hard and you will become a boss and have a place in society. But in reality, it's not like that. Because some families, in addition to selling their assets, also have to pay bribes just to get their child a job in a reputable government agency. But in the end, it doesn't work out. The salary is small, not enough to live on, the cost of living is high, and they also have to lose their dignity, ideals, and goals. It can be called a very high-risk investment. If all the money that was lost was invested in a business, it would have gone much further by now. And many families have to lose everything for this dream. The people who truly survive in this system are only a handful. In other words, if you are not truly skilled, it's hard to survive, because good positions often fall into the hands of those who have a famous last name or are in the circle of power. To put it in a folk saying, a monkey and a monkey are competing to climb a tree, but the one who gets it is the big dog. This means the person who should get it doesn't. In the end, the person who gets it is the same old person from the inner circle. And this is the painful truth of Lao society today, a system that does not provide equal opportunities for ordinary people. The new generation of young people has lost faith and motivation, not because they don't love learning, but because they see that studying is useless. If we don't fix the system, don't reform our thinking, and don't provide equal opportunities, we will lose the new generation one by one. In the end, no one will want to study, no one will want to stay, and no one will want to hope. If you don't want to miss new information, don't forget to follow. Goodbye.